The heavy IS-3 tank and other creations of Soviet engineers made a great impression on American engineers. An adequate response to these developments was needed. The M103 with its 120mm rifled gun was introduced as a new tank at the beginning of the 50s. It's also known as the T43E1. However, engineers were also developing alternatives to this vehicle. One such alternative was the T57 Heavy. The engineers used the suspension of the T43E1 and decided to mount an oscillating turret on it. The tank was armed with a 120mm cannon with an automatic loader. Its drum contained 8 shells and could be loaded with quick-firing rounds in almost any situation. However, the total amount of shells stored was only 18 due to the small size of the tank. This loadout was too light for long engagements. Despite this and other weaknesses of the vehicle, a prototype of the T57 Heavy was built. There were no trial runs, however. Priorities changed in favor of lighter and better equipped vehicles. The project was closed on the 17th of January 1957. The 2 turrets built were cannibalized, whilst the suspension was sent to the Army depot for other use. In World of Tanks, the T57 is a Tier 10 heavy tank. Let's compare its operational and physical characteristics to the other Tier 10 vehicles and evaluate them. The best rates will have 10, whilst the worst rates will be marked with 1. The suspension traverse speed is 30 degrees per second. It's a pretty good rate for a heavy tank. The turret traverse speed is 36 degrees per second. This is the best rate among the Tier 10 heavies. The combination of the suspension and turret traverse speeds allows the T57 to feel safe about the carousel. This tactic is not effective against this combat vehicle. Its maximum speed is 35 km per hour, not so great. It will not allow you to get to the key positions quickly. However, in general, this speed is good enough for fighting effectively. Firepower. This is the main advantage of the T57. The aiming speed is 2.7 seconds. This is an excellent rate for a Tier 10 heavy tank. Dispersion of the shells when fired at a distance of 100 meters is 0.35 meters. The gun is accurate at medium and long distances due to this rate. Average damage is 400. At first sight, it might seem to be low, but you should keep in mind that the T57 is equipped with an automatic loader. Average penetration with the AP shell is 258 millimeters. It's a great rate for a Tier 10 heavy tank. Upper glacis is 203 millimeters thick and has a really good slope angle. The armor of the other part of the hull is marginal. The sides have 50 millimeters of unsloped armor. This can be penetrated even with the high explosive shells, so you should play really carefully and avoid artillery fire. The frontal armor of its turret is 127 millimeters. It has a great sloping angle, which results in a lot of bounces and non-penetrations. The turret's sides have 137 millimeters of armor. Shells can even ricochet due to the unusual shape. In general, the T57 Heavy is poorly armored. In addition, it has several weak spots. The lower glacis. It's big and can be easily targeted. The top part of the turret can be easily penetrated even with HE shells. The ammunition rack is located all along the side. A shell penetrating here can blow up the vehicle. The rear part of the tank. The engine and fuel tanks are located here. Penetrating shells can result in a fire with bad consequences for the T57. The tank has 2,250 hit points. In combination with its sloping armor, this will ensure that you survive several hits. Still, you shouldn't stay in the enemy's line of fire. The view range is 400 meters. It doesn't differ from the majority of the Tier 10 heavy tanks. Let's sum up. The weaknesses of the T57 Heavy are low speed, poor armor for a Tier 10 heavy tank, great dependence on the team due to its long reloading time. The main pros are an automatic loading system, high average penetration, great accuracy and gun elevating angles. Let's take a closer look at battle tactics. The T57 Heavy is a second-line vehicle. Its task is to fight at medium and long distances, engaging enemies scouted by allies. It should also support the assault tanks of the first line. However, if your teamwork is at a high level, this vehicle can be effective in the close combat role. The following tactics are the most effective. The T57 is at a disadvantage in fights where enemies shoot each other around corners due to its low alpha damage. In such fights, the key is catching the moments when the enemy is coming around a corner at a vulnerable angle. Shoot into the front roller, destroying the track and dealing damage. Continue shooting in the exact same spot until your drum is empty. Then withdraw to reload in a safe place. Using this tactic, You can use your automatic loader to the greatest effect. The most effective battle tactic is shooting enemies at a long distance, due to the high accuracy of your gun. In this situation, you can easily reload, and you don't need the cover of allies. However, you shouldn't empty your drum all at once. Make sure that you'll penetrate the enemy. Staying unscouted is also really important in this tactic. In a dangerous situation, you should change your position. Thick bushes are great for staying unscouted. The thicker, the better. The time between two shots is only 2 seconds, which allows you to use aggressive tactics. Just wait for the right moment. Drive up to an enemy and deal out an average of 1600 damage in a short period of time. You should remember that after the 4th shot, you face a long reload and your tank will be defenseless. So you should be really careful with this tactic. Keep an eye on not only your enemies, but also your allies to be sure that they can cover you. You should buy the following equipment to make the tank effective: improved ventilation, vertical stabilizer, and an enhanced gun laying drive. This setup is perfect for aggressive tactics. For a passive game style, you should buy the following: camouflage net, vertical stabilizer, and enhanced gun laying drive. As for the skills for your crew, the following are the most efficient: commander, sixth sense, repair, camouflage; gunner, repair, snapshot, camouflage; driver, repair, off-road driving, camouflage; loader, repair, safe stowage, camouflage. Let's talk about battle tactics. The T57 Heavy is a really serious enemy both in the open area and in the city. Its mobility and excellent weapon allow it to show a great combat performance under any conditions. Let's use Fisherman's Bay, a map of mixed type, to take a closer look at tactics for the T57. On this map, you should drive to the village or to the city. If you decide to drive to the village at the center of the map, you should stay behind the buildings. From this position, you'll be able to attack scouted enemies. Try to choose a target who is loading or distracted. If enemies attack through the city, they'll show you their sides and rear. You'll help your team by attacking the weak spots of enemy vehicles. Keep in mind, though, that after the first shot, your position will be revealed to the enemies. The best tactic is to drive out of cover, empty the drum, and hide behind the building. If allies broke the enemy assault, you may drive to their positions. In the city battles, you should get from around the corner half a second later than an ally tank. An enemy will rather shoot into your ally, so you'll be able to empty the entire drum without taking any damage. After you've emptied the drum, it's a good idea to warn allies that you're reloading. Such cooperation will allow you to fight with higher efficiency. If enemies push through the alley, you should get back to the center of the map. You can destroy enemies that are moving to the base while staying covered by buildings. The drum allows you to prevent base capturing. Just put a shot into every vehicle in the circle. On the open map, Airfield, you may control the center of the map by getting to the comfortable position in E5. This position will cover you from enemy artillery, and you can easily support your allies in the center of the map by shooting enemies below you, using your great gun depression angles. Pay attention to the stones on the B line. Light tanks often use them as a cover to get to your position. If it happens, you can easily destroy them from your spot. Your main task is to help allies to push through the E and D lines. You should distract enemies. Mainly attack those tanks that are not aiming at you or that are reloading. Remember, the majority of open territories can be covered with artillery fire. That's why you should try to get to the positions which can save you from their shells. If enemies push through the water, you should engage the tanks that drive to your base. Your priority targets are tanks with small amount of hit points. This is the fast and easy way to reduce the number of assaulters. Just play for time, so allies can get back or capture the enemy base. While playing on the T57 Heavy, you should keep in mind that a destroyed tank deals no damage. That's why you should be patient and plan your next move. The main mistake of beginners is to empty the drum and die. You should try to survive. This is the key to success. That's all for now. Good luck on the battlefield.